Alrighty, guys. Good afternoon to you all here. Happy Tuesday, May 19th, 2025. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. And if you were watching our 13-hour stream that we had yesterday, you saw what happened. We had a pretty significant tornado outbreak yesterday across Kansas into portions of Texas, up into southern Nebraska, and into eastern Colorado. Significant long track tornadoes last night, multiple tornado emergencies last night. We saw multiple large long track wedge tornadoes. We saw one of the most insane tornadoes in portions of central Kansas that I've ever seen, probably in my 8 to 9 years of streaming. So it just wild stuff happened yesterday as forecast, and we hopefully we got you guys prepped and ready to go. Sadly, we've got another day today, and this could be potentially even bigger than what yesterday was in terms of the magnitude of this event here. But this is going to be for a lot of the same areas across the plains today into the Midwest, and then we shift things into the Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley and the Southeast tomorrow. So 2 more days here to get through, guys, of significant severe weather. We're going to have live coverage coming up here pretty soon. I'm sorry for posting this video so late, but I had a lot of stuff going on this morning trying to get everything ready to go for today. So we're going to get this video out to you guys. We're just going to discuss today and tomorrow, talk about timing, talk about risk zones, and then we'll leave it at that for today. But you can see on your screen here, very strong upper level trough here. This is what's allowing this cold front to extend down here. We're going to have a secondary piece of troughing that's going to be moving in here later on this afternoon that's going to help make this evening's event a lot more severe in magnitude. So there's going to be 2 rounds of storms today. One this afternoon. We've actually already got some cells firing off in southeastern portions of Oklahoma this afternoon. So there's going to be 1 round of storms that come through, and then the main event comes through along our dry line later on this afternoon. We're going to go ahead and talk about that here in just a second, but just wanted to give you guys a broad overview of what's going on across the general area here of the United States. Now, let's talk about what our risk zones are today. We do once again have a pretty big moderate risk zone. This is a lot bigger than what yesterday's was, so please pay attention. Same risk as yesterday, just in a different area and a lot bigger. So we do have a level 4 risk out of 5 here for strong long track EF3 plus tornadoes, significantly large hail, maybe even up to 5 inches in diameter. That is DVD sized hail there in that red risk zone for anybody that does not know, as well as the threat for some damaging winds. We could see winds exceed 80 to 100 miles per hour anywhere in that red region as well. They're outside of that level 3 enhanced risk extending from Kansas City down to Dallas, and then a level 2 slight risk from Norfolk, Nebraska into Omaha, Lincoln, and then back down through western Illinois, getting into eastern Missouri, down here into Texas, and then a small little slight risk back over here into the Tennessee River Valley and the western Carolina region here for the threat for some wind and some hail, and then a general marginal risk outside of that there. So all levels all the way up to 4 here on the table. Are we going to get a high risk? I don't think so. I think we're already at the threshold. We need that. We could see a high risk. It's always on the table, but I don't think that's going to happen. We were kind of in the same boat with yesterday, where storm coverage is still going to be pretty messy. So I don't think we're too confident in there being enough for a concentrated high risk. But I could be wrong. Something could happen. Something could change in the next couple hours. We'll keep you guys updated on that there. But nevertheless, here, 15% hatched tornado risk and 10% hatched tornado risk. If you were anywhere in these hatched regions here, especially the 15 or the 10, you need to be very weather aware that long track EF2 to EF3 plus tornadoes are 100% on the table, and that's within a 25-mile radius of a given point there. Outside of that, though, we have a 5% and a 2% tornado risk. It extends all the way up through western Kentucky. I myself am included in that. Western Tennessee, back down here into Texas for the late evening and overnight hours, where we could see these storms continue to track. Now, like I said, tornadoes are going to be a big thing today. I don't think they're going to be necessarily the dominant mode, at least as we go into the later evening hours here. We're going to see the wind threat increase, and we're going to see the hail threat increase. I do think the wind and the hail are ultimately going to outdo today's threat. We will have that tornado threat at place there. We do have a 45 and 30% hatched wind threat here, and this is going to be for winds that could exceed 80 to 100 plus miles per hour here. Northeast Oklahoma, southeast portions of Kansas, western portions of Missouri, northwestern portions of Arkansas here. You need to have things tied down, especially in this area. Bring belongings outside if they can fly away. This could be a pretty significant wind event later on this evening if this does in fact come to fruition. Outside of that, though, 30, 15, and 5% for winds up to 75 miles per hour. And then we are looking at, once again, the hail being a big threat today. DVD-sized hail, guys. 4 to 5, maybe even potentially 5.5, 6 inch in diameter hail. Probably not off the table for today, just given the environment that we're going to have. Very large, gigantic hail at play for today. 45, 30, and 15 hatched hail risk here. You can see where that's at. That's for hail over 3 inches in diameter. And then outside the hatched hail region, we could see hail anywhere from 1 to 2 inches in diameter. So significant amount of hail today. The areas that are going to be impacted here: Springfield, Joplin, Wichita, Oklahoma City, Norman, Fort Still, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, Dallas, Abilene, getting up into Illinois, getting up into Lincoln, Nebraska, Omaha area. So a lot of the areas that were impacted with yesterday's storms are going to be at play for today's storms. So just be very mindful of that. We should be getting watches here very soon. We're going to get multiple watches throughout the day. We'll be live streaming throughout the day as always, so we'll keep you guys updated on that. I do want to briefly talk about tomorrow. We'll talk more about tomorrow on stream as we always do, but we do have a level 3 enhanced risk, level 2 slight risk, and level 1 marginal risk for tomorrow. There is a threat for strong to intense tornadoes back down here into western Kentucky, western and central Tennessee, northern and central portions of Mississippi and Alabama here for for EF2 plus tornadoes. There also will be the threat for tornadoes outside of that tomorrow. This is going to be the same system that's going to be moving in. A warm front will be draped across this area here, giving us the chance for all modes of severe weather. Now, the main threat for tomorrow is actually going to be wind, and it's going to be more than likely hail. Eventually, we'll probably get a 30% hail threat, but the wind threat looking at 30, 15, and 5% for winds up to 70 miles per hour, maybe pushing 75, maybe 80. Hail threat is at 15 and 5 for hail up to 1 to 2 inches in diameter, and then we do have that 10% hatch tornado risk there for EF2 plus tornadoes, Bowling Green, Nashville, Jackson, Memphis, getting down there into central portions of Mississippi, northern Mississippi, and northwestern portions of Alabama. 5% tornado risk outside of that there, and 2% tornado risk outside of that, meaning there could be tornadoes within a 25-mile radius of a given location. That's what we've got for tomorrow, and then we've got one more day of severe weather. Very, 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 very low in severe weather here. Level 1 out of 5 risk here for the East Coast, and then we should be done with severe weather for a good amount of time, hopefully, in terms of significant severe weather. So today and tomorrow, guys, going to be big, big, big days, especially today. This could be one of our biggest days as forecasted. Kind of talk about the rundown of what we're going to see here. Let me switch back over here to the plains. Here's an idea of what's going to happen. Like I said, rounds of storms are going to be firing off here. It's going to get very, very messy later on this afternoon. Our first initial round of storms is already starting to develop. This could pose the threat for all modes of severe weather, significant, strong, intense tornadoes, damaging winds, large to extremely large hail. And then that'll be about 1 o'clock this afternoon through about 3, 4. And then that kind of grows upscale into a line of storms. You can see where that damaging wind threat's going to play at. QLCS tornadoes also will be embedded in that. And then we get our main supercell event that fires off. And this has been something that's been uptrending throughout the morning here. We're really going to have to watch southeastern Oklahoma and northern Texas around the Dallas area moving northeast through the evening hours here, because if these supercells can latch onto the environment that we have, we could see multiple ripping wedge tornadoes once again ripping through portions of Oklahoma, getting into Arkansas and Missouri later on this evening. And it's not something that I want to see, but you guys can see the magnitude and coverage of these storms. And then by the time we get to about midnight, this becomes a lot more messier, less overall tornado risk. Tornado risk starts to die down pretty significantly. And then we're just looking at a damaging wind event moving through the Ohio Valley, the lower Tennessee Valley by tomorrow. So just something to be very, very mindful of. Significant threat once again for today. All modes of severe weather possible. Kind of looking at tomorrow, overnight round of storms tonight. This is going to play a big role in what happens on Tuesday. If we get this rain cleared out once again by Tuesday morning, the sun comes out and instability starts to happen and destabilization happens, then we're going to see the threat for all modes of severe weather. And you can see supercells and thunderstorms firing off Tuesday afternoon throughout the day as this system moves through. This looks nothing like what we saw last week on pen and paper as of now. Things can change, but as of right now, this doesn't look to be as significant as last Friday. But regardless of that, all modes of severe weather possible across the Ohio Valley on Tuesday. You need to have alerts to get on your phones. You need to have NOAA weather radios ready to go. You need to know where to go when you get a tornado warning. As always, we could see severe storms anywhere in that region here. So just something to keep mindful of. And then this will advance on Wednesday, and we'll kick this system finally out of here, and we'll get a damn break. So, I'm going to leave the video with that for you guys today. We're going to have live stream coverage coming up here within the next hour. Come in, ask questions. The weather team will be in there. We'll be giving out warnings, doing the same thing we did yesterday. I appreciate you guys, as always, for all the love, all the support as well. And we will see you guys in the next one, and be safe out there, guys.